Oh, hey, what's going on, everybody? Sorry. Um, Thank you for tuning in. It's the Golden Dome podcast, the post game show. Well, guys, as you see, I'm holding a roll of toilet paper here. It didn't pan out the way we wanted to, guys. You know, we understand one thing: football is a 60-minute game. You play 59 minutes of football, anything can happen in the last minute. In this case, anything can happen in the last 2 seconds of a game. Where do we start? One word I described the first three quarters of this game basically was straight up defense. Straight up defense. Both sides of the ball. I myself, I love an offensive game. This is, something that I watched. I loved watching it, of course. But to me, the first three quarters, defense is sound ball on both sides of the ball. Couple mistakes here and there on both sides of the team. But, let's go to the first quarter here. I mean, let's talk about this. First quarter of the game, you see Sam Hartman show ways that he can beat you. The running game, they took Estime away. You look at what Estime did today. He really didn't do anything until the fourth quarter, which we'll definitely get into here. Estime had a great game, but the third and fourth quarters when Estime actually took over the game, where we thought he was going to take over the game. 14 carries, 70 yards, a little below standard for what he did. But of course, you're playing a juggernaut like Ohio State. It's the first half was just a juggernaut between both teams. Running the ball, you couldn't get a couple runs in there. What Notre Dame was doing is they were actually running inside, but the problem to me, this is going to be a little bit negative tonight. I'm just going to be, that Monday, that's Saturday night coach where you see the wrong things that happen tonight. Let me clear my thoughts real quick and let me get a couple comments in here. Robbie McGrath, it was a great game played by there. I hope that they would win. Yeah, myself, of course. They played a good game, but there was some things in there that I could not believe that I've seen, honestly, from this team. Some lackluster calls, of course. We'll get into a couple of the calls here coming in, some play calling. Tough loss, ND proud. Yeah, I'm still proud of Notre Dame, of course. You already know that. I'm never going to back down from saying I'm a Notre Dame fan, of course. Adam, you're the same way. Eileen, exactly. I know. I got my toilet paper today already. But let's get into this. Let's get into this real quick. First quarter of the game, was a defensive battle back and forth between both teams. You thought maybe this game would go down to who had the ball last to win. Of course, it actually did. But who would have thought that in the first quarter here? A defensive battle back and forth, of course, between both teams here. And the first half to me was just a feeling out process of both teams here. You look at it here, I don't even know when to start because I was so frustrated, of course, going over everything. In the first half, it to me, it was just a defensive explosion where you've seen two teams just going after each other, of course, but three and outs. The first drive, of course, Notre Dame drives all the way down 14 plays, 71 yards. Nothing at all, and Ohio State gets the ball, 3 plays, 3 and out, 8 yards, within a minute and 22 seconds for an Ohio State explosive team, which was very good for them, of course, as a defensive stop. Then you come down, Notre Dame gets the ball 7 yards in a great territory, field possession, flip the field here basically, got the ball, missed the field goal. Just imagine that 3 points for Spencer Schrader. When was the last time he missed a field goal? He hasn't really missed one this year, has he? Except for, I believe he missed one in the earlier, which was a long field goal, but a chip shot he misses. When does that ever happen? That's 3 points right there that we can take off the board. That 3 points, well, we know the score, 17-14, of course. Notre Dame, then Ohio State comes right down. The defense on this side, of Notre Dame's side, a goal line defense was insane. Huge stops, 2 first and goal stops regarding the whole game. The first quarter they had one, of course. It was so beautiful. First down, second down, third down. They tried throwing it on third down. I believe it was Cam Hart knocked the ball out of Ibuka's hands, which is a great defensive play, of course. But you look at these plays, the defense held their own. They bent, but they did not break. Finally, the field goal was getting by Ohio State. 3-0, of course. I'm sorry, by Notre Dame. Notre Dame got the field goal first, 3-0, of course. It was tied 3-3. And then Notre Dame gives up a touchdown. A huge run by Henderson right off the tackle. If you look at that play, it was a solid play call. They had both guards pull, from the opposite side. That was where Baptiste actually did not play containment football. He ran between the gaps here, came right across the middle, left that defensive side of the ball wide open, and Henderson just took off 81 yards for the touchdown. 81 yards. We know he has speed, and that burst that he had right off the left side there was just insane. To me, I was like, you know what? Okay, this is it right here. This is where Ohio State, the thoroughbreds come out. They're going to take this game over. But Notre Dame, they did come back. They did come back. Next play, right after the second quarter, they come back and they score a 13-play drive. 75 yards. Trained a lot of the clock, running the ball. And what they took away Estime. But you look at this team that come in there. Brian Payne came in. Love came in, running the ball, exposing the outside. The inside wasn't there. In the first half, the inside running game was not there. The trap game wasn't there. The guards couldn't get out there. They couldn't get out there. They couldn't get out and hit the second level. The Ohio State's defense came in. Eichenberg from the Ohio State team. I tell you what, he's a fundamental linebacker. He filled the gaps. He is to what our JT Barand is for us. They played containment football. Filled the gaps. We had to get outside. During that game, it was still back and forth, of course, with the offense and defense. It was all play calling to just gain yardage and flip the field position. So Notre Dame comes out. They do score 75 yards. Great drive. Took 7 minutes off the clock. And right there, Notre Dame's on the board with 10-7, of course. Ohio State gets the ball. They punt. Notre Dame comes right back and scores again. Drives right down. This is what a great punt by Ohio State's kicker. Put him at the 2-yard line. The 3-yard line. And I tell you what, I'm thinking like, oh man, they're going to pin him back here. They're coming after him. Hartman's first play, he got out of the end zone, got a little bit of yardage there. 11 plays, 97 yards for a TD. Okay. Took a lot of time off the clock again, 6 minutes and 26 seconds off the clock. This is what I was thinking, like, okay, you know what? Notre Dame's going to ground control this game. They're going to keep the Ohio State's offense off the field. I'm thinking like, okay, we can actually win this game here. Ohio State gets a ball back. They punt the ball away. They punt it. Notre Dame comes back, 3 and out right away. The play calling from the first half to the second half, I seen something today, myself being a coach, and I said in my group chat, of course, and I said this, over and over and over. Why are we on fourth down? And I even said this on Twitter on our Out of the Box page. Why so many teams, and including Notre Dame tonight, fourth down, where you have a super lightweight quarterback in Sam Hartman, 200 pounds, light in many categories. I don't even think he is 200 pounds, honestly. Lining up under center and taking the ball off tackle. When you have Audric Estime, Brian Payne, Love, pounding the ball all night long. Huge stop for Ohio State. The momentum shifted right there. The other thing I noticed is a lot of the plays where Notre Dame had 4th and 1, 3rd and 1, whatever it was, many times. Why do you line up in shotgun? I don't get why teams line up in shotgun. To me, it aggravates me so much when I see that, I'm screaming at my TV. Why are you lining up in shotgun? I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. We always seen the Philadelphia Eagles, of course. It's an unstoppable offense, 4th and 1, 4th and 2. It's, we go back as Notre Dame fans. There's something we always call the Bush push, okay? We all know what that is. Hate to say it, hate to remember it, but we know what that is, the Bush push. Why don't we do anything like that? The one play I just talked about where Sam Hartman was under center and Ostame was still in his stance upright, waiting for the play call. I think it was where Hartman just snapped the ball on his own, where he's seen Eichenberg, or whatever, Eichenberg, the Ohio State's linebacker, play off the ball. They played that perfect, where they played off the ball and they moved all on both sides, so they played like 7 guys in the box. Hartman just seen his eyes got wide and said, okay, there's nobody on the left side. Let me run it to the outside. Ostame we wouldn't even move on that play. He didn't even move on that play. That is a play where it's all timing. On that play there, I blame Hartman for that turnover right there on downs. He should have waited. He should have waited either for a push in the back from his running back Ostame. That would have been a huge Estime push. We've been called that the Estime push or whatever you want to call it. Need a word for that, but that is what it could have been also. I don't know what he was thinking. There was 3 times where we went for it on 4th down, lining up in shotgun. Let's move to the second half, which we're already in, actually. You think about this. Why does Notre Dame run out of the shotgun with one back every time? They always run up the middle. When they have a two-back system where you've seen Jabrian Payne in there with Estime, a lot of that counter-action game, they faked it. The one play was so beautiful. They faked it to Estime up the middle, and Jabrian Payne went 19 yards on the outside. When they have two running backs in the backfield, it's a lot of mismatched game. It's like an X counter move. When they have one tailback, it's always up the middle. Why don't we run, some similar to a two-back situation when you're gassing them? You go to the tight ends talk. I mean, the tight ends tonight, you think about all that too. And the person that was really showed up tonight is just like one of the announcers said tonight, it's tight end university all over. You look at this, Mitchell Evans came out, 6 catches, 70 yards, unstoppable. Hell, I at a time in the game, I was like, Michael Mayer, who? Thinking about this. And I looked at him like, wow, this guy's wide open every time. He's going down the middle. He's finding holes in the secondary here. Why don't give him the ball? Why are we not giving him the ball? I didn't understand it. We went away from what was working. The little dinks and dimes here, going 5 yards, going 6 yards, running the ball, being very balanced. Even though the running game wasn't there, you had to keep them honest because you know what Estime can do. You've seen what G. Brian Payne can do. You've seen what Love can do. So, that to me was something that we've seen. Even Price got in the action tonight. Darian Price got in the action a little bit. He had 24 yards carrying the ball, on 3 carries. Great gashes, 8 yards of gash there. 6 running backs, basically including the wide receiver, Jaden Greathouse had 1 run too, but it wasn't anything good. That was on a 3rd and 2 call where he got hit on the outside and lost 2 yards. That was something 3 yards actually. So that wasn't a great call either. But you look at what Notre Dame did in the first half, controlling the time of possession, keeping that Ohio State team off the field. When you get them on the field, of course, that we know what they can do. Kyle Moore, of course, the QB. He had a great game, but he had some yardage in there. He took what the defense gave him. He made some mistakes. And 31 for 37, 240, no TDs, not a huge game downfield. But, flip it to the defensive side of the ball since we're talking about Ohio State here. How many penalties did we see tonight from the Notre Dame secondary? A lot. Too many penalties tonight. 3 PIs. 2 more could have been called actually. We didn't get a couple calls on Notre Dame side as well. The one hands on I think it was JD and Price. No, I'm sorry, on JD and Price coming down the field. We didn't get that one, of course. It's ticky-tack play. I understand that, but Benjamin Morrison got beat. Okay, Xavier Watts got beat. And both of them, 2 of those, 2 out of 3 were on a running back, Travion Henderson, coming out of the backfield. Well, you don't even play the ball to me. That was one of the things that disgusted me so bad. And, the pregame I did say, if this running back or the wide receivers get, deep and they take the roof off, Notre Dame is going to have to play catch up with the speed of these wide receivers. There could have been a touchdown late in the 4th quarter with Harrison. Harrison went down with an injury. He came back in the game, of course. And to me, he did look like he missed a step coming out of the tent. In the one play in the end zone where it was a beautiful ball from McCord. Reminded me of from St. Joe's Prep, how they used to play at Zone Joe's Prep. Just throw it in the end zone, a corner route, let Harrison come down with the ball. He was about 1 step behind. I think a 100%, not hobble Harrison would have caught that TD. Once again, our corner, that was Benjamin, who played off the ball and got beat. Got beat on a perfect route by Harrison. Perfect timing ball, just a little lackluster speed from, I believe, the injury that he had with his ankle. But, positively, the defense played balls to the wall. They played it. I give them credit 100%. This defense played for 59 minutes. 59 minutes they played tonight. Of course, the game is 60 minutes. Let's talk about, I'm not going to go into so much of here. We'll go into a couple stats here real quick. Before we get into the last 3 minutes of the game, we'll talk about some stats here, of course. As I said, Kyle McCord was 21 for 37, 240. Travion Henderson ran this ball like he was a preseason All-American. We knew he was good coming into this game. 14 carries, 104, average 7.4, 1 TD. He had 1 great gash. They controlled him basically 3/4 of the game. He had 1 long run for the TD, where that scamper for 61 yards off the left side, where it was a defensive breakdown by Notre Dame. Baptiste came inside, of course, and the guards pulled, and they just kicked him out, and he was gone. All he had to do was beat Xavier Watts down the field. And I mean, Henderson's a track star. We already know that, of course. So it happened, whatever. The wide receivers, I mean, they didn't blow up. You stopped Harrison, of course. Harrison only had 2 catches, which was very surprising. We talked about in the post game, who are you going to stop? You're going to stop Harrison, or are you going to stop Ibuka? Who are you going to stop? Well, Ibuka didn't go off either. 7 catches, 96 yards. His long was 23. So basically, you kept everything inside the sticks there, basically. But there was one explosive play for 40 yards, and that was to Xavier Johnson, their fourth wide receiver on the depth chart. 1 catch, 40 yards, and that was the middle breaker, wide open in the middle. I don't understand where, and he's playing a slot receiver. That is either going to be your linebacker chipping him to pass him off to a safety. I don't understand what happened there. I really don't. But you look at those there. I mean, they didn't have any fumbles tonight. Their defense, Ransom, they had 7 solo tackles, great player. The one player that I want to talk about is Tommy Eichenberg, their linebacker. You know what? He could have had the score actually could have been, I'll be honest with you, the score could have been 31-14 tonight. First quarter, Sam Hartman throws if he could have lobbed the pass, it would have went for about 35 yards to, I believe it was Jabari Payne coming out for the screen route there in the flat. Hartman didn't get enough touch on it, threw it right to, Eichenberg's hands. Or I'm sorry, it wasn't Eichenberg. I'm very sorry about that. I forgot who it was. I think it was, I'm trying to remember who it was. I actually wrote it down, but I left all my notes downstairs. It was a defensive line, Davison or something like that. The big left tackle of the big defensive end came in, batted the ball down with one hand. He was about 2 steps away from taking that to the house if he would have caught that. And then, of course, another play where Hartman hit Eichenberg right in the hands there again, where it could have been another pick 6. Those were blows that Hartman, he had a good game, but he didn't have the touch on the ball tonight, I want to say, downfield to the wide receivers. The only wide receiver he really found, of course, which we'll get into, is, excuse me. Let me take a drink here, guys. I'm just so lost for words here. Sorry about that. Well, Hartman, let's talk about Hartman. 12 for 75, 12 for 25, 175 tonight, 1 TD. Hey, I'm not going to knock him for his yardage tonight. You're playing Ohio State, front 7, a back secondary that's fast, legitimate horses on both sides of the ball. Their front 7's good. They got pressure, of course. But you talk about, the running game here. Estime, they took away Estime in the first half here. The second half, we knew Estime was going to get the ball. Even the announcer said it's time to, feed him the ball. This is the time you get behind that offensive line, all out there, of course. Run it behind him, the left guard. Run behind these guys. Continue to keep Ohio State off the field. That's what they did. But there was 2 3 and outs that kind of went the wrong way there. Austin made 14 carries, 70 yards. Jeremiah Love played a great game as well, which I'm surprised that they actually didn't use him and Darian Price more in this game. We had a 4-headed running back tonight where it was Austin May wasn't getting the yards on the inside between tackles, counters, little X's there. But then you had Jeremiah Love coming in, and he was just gashing the ball up the middle. I seen something tonight where I watched Estime in the first 4 weeks where he would run the ball full head of steam, go right through the tackles. There was a couple plays tonight where he looked like if you guys are familiar with the old Le'Veon Bell, staying behind the offensive line, waiting for the holes to create. The holes weren't there, but I look at it both ways because Jeremiah Love found the holes. He hit the hole hard. He reminded me of a Christian McCaffrey, with the San Francisco 49ers. Hit the hole, bounce, get a hole, find it. What Estime in the first half, it looked like he was waiting for the blocks or something to create with the offense there. I don't know if it was a guard, coming over, not getting their assignment correctly, but you got to hit the hole. Even Jadarian Price hit the hole kind of hard today too. They did bounce a lot outside. Total runs tonight were 39 yards for 176, 40.5 yards per carry. And the one touchdown made with the Jabari Payne right up the middle on the Wildcat. That's something I was kind of surprised to see, being on the 1 yard line. I like a running back in the Wildcat, of course, to be, in the shotgun. But as I said earlier, I don't know why Sam Hartman was in the shotgun on 4th and 1, 3rd and 1. I don't understand it. I really don't understand something like that. Really don't. Let's get into a couple comments here. Message Malone saying, very terrific game. No doubt both teams are top 10. Yeah, I mean, I agree. If Notre Dame drops out of the top 10, I see an issue with that. I really do. You know what? I do think they will drop probably to number 10. I think Oregon is going to jump up to number 9. They have to, after beating Colorado. I don't see the hype there, but they will. I mean, they handled Colorado handily today. I believe it was 42-6, 42-7, something like that. So they'll jump Notre Dame. Notre Dame should stay in the top 10. I mean, they're 9. They should move down to 10. Oregon probably comes up to 9. They'll flip-flop basically there. But I can't see them going anywhere right now. I really can't. Joe Sullivan says crushing loss. Yeah, it's a crushing loss, Joe. I mean, I was so hyped for this game. I'm not gonna lie to you. I put a stack on this game. I just felt I usually don't never bet on Notre Dame, but to me, I seen something. In this team, how they came out and hearing how they get behind. Marcus Freeman. The Notre Dame atmosphere. It was something that I did. I put it on there and I lost it, but it's no big deal. But it's a crushing loss, of course. To go down to the last play of the game. But let's talk about the wide receivers really quick before we get into that last 2 minutes of the game here, which we know won't be long here tonight. But I'm just at a loss for words, really. I'm just like blabbling on because I'm so pissed off, of the way this game ended tonight. I really am. I hate to be that way, but it's just frustrating, man. It's really frustrating where you play 59 minutes of football and then the last minute, we'll talk about what happened. In my eyes, I could be opinionated. I could be wrong. This is just what I see. Let me know if you're still watching. Let me know what you think about this, of what we get into the last 2 minutes of the game. Mitchell Evans, the tight end, okay? 6 catches, 70 yards, 11 per carry. Jaden Greathouse, 2 catches, 40 yards. Chris Tyree, the slot receiver. Where was he at this entire game? 1 catch for 25 yards in the first half. Great off the ball. Found the middle of the ball. Hartman hit him right across the middle, gashing it. Where was he in this play calling? Where was he in this play calling? I don't understand. Notre Dame played well when he had 2 wide receivers, twins left, twins right, whatever, with 1 opposite receiver on the opposite side, the backside. The running game actually opened up with that. We went away from that. Do I blame Gerard Parker for that? Yeah, I do. I really do on that one. But Sam Hartman had 1 carry for -4 yards. Actually, he should have had 2 carries on that for -6 yards because he did lose 2 yards on that 4th and 1 where it was just a blown call on Sam Hartman's point. You have 4 guys, 2 nose tackles, 2 DNs inside of our guards, basically. Nobody on the outside tackle. So we have Estime in the backfield, of course, 6 yards off the ball, waiting to get the ball. So I'm thinking like, okay, easy first down. We're slamming up the middle. Estime's getting the ball. First down, Notre Dame. What does Hartman do? He rushes to the line, snaps the ball. He jumps off to the left side here, right behind All. All gets double teamed. Eichenberg comes in and smashes Sam Hartman for a -2 right there on 4th down in Ohio State territory. Once again, I know Freeman said in the game, it's fourth down, it's close. We're going for it. We're going for it. That to me showed something that he had balls right there. He did it. But you know what? You gotta play smart in this situation here. You can't let the moment of Ohio State get to you. 3 points could have been the factor of this game. Even if they scored, we would have been tied 17-17. The missed field goal by Schrader, 3 points. The bogus, stupid call with Hartman by himself. First down could have cost you 3 points as well right there. We were in territory to get at least a field goal. At least a field goal. Think about it. But let's get into the last 2 minutes of the game here, guys, really quick. Let's get into this 2 minutes here. My question to everybody watching this game here. Ohio State gets the ball. 1:30 left. They're on 35-yard line. What kind of defense do you play? Number one, you don't let anything behind you. They had 1 timeout left. They didn't use it till very late in the game, of course. What do? You keep everything in front of you. Notre Dame played soft. They ran a 4-man down line all game, a 4-3 basically, and spread the field in the back end with 4. 2 corners and 2 over the top being an umbrella with the safeties in Watts, okay, in the back. What happened? What happened? Why did we go a little bit soft here? Why? They started throwing the ball downfield. It was a great gash right down the middle, a 35-yard down. 2 first downs that were over 3rd and 10 on the final drive. They get down to the red zone, right inside the red zone here. It was 3rd and 15. 3rd and 15. Okay, a first down marker is at the 3-yard line. Can I ask you guys a question? Why are we only rushing 3 down linemen at this point? Why do we only rush 3 down linemen? Kyle McCord is not, the Hartman who you give him time. He can pick anybody out there. He can, play 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. That's what it looked like when McCord was back there on that 3rd and 15. He stands in the pocket. If you go back and watch that play, he had 6 seconds to throw the ball. Hartman didn't have 6 seconds tonight. McCord never had 6 seconds on one play tonight. He was sitting back there in the pocket, didn't even have to move between his guards from right to left. Stayed back there, looked, threw the ball on a dime into triple coverage right between 3 Notre Dame defenders at the 2-yard line. 3rd and 15, gets 17 yards out of that. 17 yards out of that. Am I wrong where I'm going to go with what got me in the three quarters of the game here? 59 minutes of the game, putting pressure on McCord. McCord looked lost at many times. Yes, he had a couple yards out there. Of course, he had 240, but at times he was lost. Okay, you put pressure on him. You don't just drop back in coverage, play in like a nickel, even a dime or a prevent is what it looked like. But then again, if you play dime, why is the middle of the field there where you're having 4 wideouts go and your back is basically popping out as well? He was wide open in the flat. He was wide open in the flat. McCord made a hell of a pass, not taking anything away from him. Great pass into 3 defenders at Notre Dame at the 2-yard line. What can we say? What can we say? I don't know if I'm wrong. But where do you guys blame this Notre Dame game at? Can't blame the defense, the players on the field. They executed. They held Ohio State to basically, 10 points for 59 minutes? The funny thing is I've been, I'm going to say the word, I've been bitching all night about one play. 3rd down, 4th down for Notre Dame. Why not get behind the center? Why not run a blast? Why not? Did you notice that when Kyle McCord was in a third down situation, a second and 1, 2nd and short, 3rd and 1, even the 4th down goal line that he needed a touchdown? What happened? He was under center. They got that back the ball and he just blasted. I don't understand why we go into 3rd down, 4th down, 1, 2, whatever. We're in shotgun. You stand back in shotgun, you hand the ball to your back. The timing is totally off there. You go under center, you hand the ball off, he gets a full head of speed, he blasted the hole. We talk about this Notre Dame O-line. Why didn't we do it? I blame Gerard Parker on a lot of that. He went from an offense from the first half that was gashing people, inside, outside, being balanced, hitting the tight end, a lot of drag routes coming through the middle, took what the defense gave you. The 3rd quarter was, it was like a different game that I watched here. Watching Notre Dame play the first half and second half, to me, was a little bit like, wow, what am I watching here? I'm watching a first half where we're taking what the defense gives you. Second half, we're not doing that. We're basically running right up the middle in this 3rd quarter. 4th quarter, it actually worked with Estime getting the ball, Jadarian Price getting the ball, of course. They were running the ball up the middle. Why did we stop doing that? I don't understand. There was one play where it was 3 passes from Sam Hartman. Why? They're little shade corner routes where who was the one player tonight that was getting open on basically every play? Mitchell Evans. Why did we go away from him? They were running him one-on-one. Why? I mean, what happened last year? You give Tommy Reese credit last year for going to Michael Mayer constantly into triple coverage. Get one of your best players the ball. Mitchell Evans showed that tonight. His size, his strength. I mean, hell, he had a couple, one-handed catches like a Odell Beckham type in the middle of the field. Why didn't we give him the ball? I don't know. But it is what it is. Notre Dame is, we still are a championship team here. I mean, you think about it, we still do have a tough schedule coming up. We have USC. We have Clemson. Clemson actually helped us out a little bit today, actually. If you guys watched the game, they did lose to Florida State, which actually, even though they lost, they do help out Notre Dame's strength of schedule coming up. Florida State is number 3 in the country. Clemson took them to basically the brink. So that helps out the Notre Dame schedule, of course. Paulie Wanop says 10 men on the field last play. Hey, you know what? That's a fundamental mistake. Very simple. It's very simple, of course. I mean, who do you blame for that? They took the timeout, which is so stupid. You take a timeout on the defensive side of the ball, which was, to me, I didn't like that. I don't like that. I don't know what do you guys think real quick. Evan says the Big Ten is serious this year. Yeah, I mean, they're legitimate. I mean, Michigan today, Ohio State, of course. Penn State, even Iowa played a little bit of a good game today, And just imagine in next year when this Big Ten becomes the Big, 55, and they get USC, they get Oregon. Look what Oregon did to Colorado today. Washington, I believe, is up like 50-0 already. I mean, you got Michael Penix who won't be there next year, but still, Washington's putting players on the map too. They're going to be recruiting from the West Coast. And you think about the three teams that are going to be recruiting from the West Coast, it's going to be USC, which has the national recruiting, of course. But you look at players like that, Oregon, they are on the map too. Washington on the map. So Big Ten is something to definitely take serious, But regarding that 10 men on the field there, Notre Dame took the timeout. Notre Dame took a defensive timeout, which to me, okay, it was an incomplete pass. You have one play basically left. 2 seconds on the clock, of course. You know they're going to run the ball. Okay? To me, I would have just played. The defense played great all night. But then you come out with 10 guys on the field. Fundamental mistake. I don't understand. I really don't understand that situation. You knew they were coming up the middle. They weren't going to bounce outside. They weren't going to do that. Henderson ran the ball inside the middle the entire game. Up the middle. The one play he did bounce outside, but a 4th and 1 at the goal line, you're not going to take that time to bounce outside because Ohio State did bounce one outside. Notre Dame stopped that on the 4th and goal, of course. So, and the crazy thing is, it wasn't Henderson that actually scored. It was Chris Terriantian or something like that, whatever his name is. Fast running back, very physical, of course. But hey, it is what it is. Notre Dame lost their first game. We're still not out of national contention. We're not. Okay, we're not. We still have USC. We still have Duke. We still have North Carolina, which are all ranked in the top 20. Of course, USC should move up a little bit. I don't think they'll move up. I think they'll stay legitimately at 6. Duke played a good game today. North Carolina blew whoever they're playing out. I think it was like 41-something when I was last watching that. So they're legit. So we have four teams. Ohio State, of course, top 3 in the nation to me. Duke, North Carolina, USC, arguably top 5 as well. So the strength of schedule can be there. I mean, we can win out, of course. If we do beat USC, that puts us back in a top 6 category. We want to hope that USC wins all the way out until we play them. We hope that North Carolina wins out until we play them. We hope that Duke wins out until we get to them. Strength of schedule could boost us up a little bit. Not saying that we will get into BCS, but a lot can happen. The only thing that does hurt us, we don't play a conference championship. We're independent. So what we do in the regular season shows us our strength of schedule, shows us our ranking, shows up our record. Does it hurt us a little bit? Hey, it could, of course. But our strength of schedule should play as strong as it is. It is what it is. You win who it is. But the good thing is, hey, you lost to Ohio State by 3 points. For 59 minutes, you hung with them. A little bit different from last year. Sort of like the same thing as last year, but, the last play to win the game was originally supposed to go to Harrison, according to the Ohio State coach. I don't agree with that. Because of the fact the last play of the game, you're not going to throw a fade out there. Notre Dame showed what they had. They didn't even have 9 in the box. You spread the field, and you're going to get one of those fast tailbacks. You knew when McCord was under center how he was up at the ball. If you look at a lot of quarterbacks, I've watched McCord play all his life, from 8th grade all the way up until his junior year. I wasn't there his senior year. I moved up here. But the one thing I noticed about Kyle McCord, even the coaches from St. Joe's Prep said it. When he has a handoff, either like an ISO blast or, an off-tackle run or anything like that, he would always shade his left foot back a little bit. That's something I did notice tonight. I didn't know he was going to run that play, of course, but you figured it was going to be a run. I don't think it's going to be a pass outside to Harrison. You do want to put the ball in your best player's hand. But from the 1 yard line, you have to go with the push there, which I give Ohio State so much credit, for going for that right there. Of course, you had to go for it, but you put your running back 8 yards off behind the center, behind the QB, and just ran him right up the middle. That push right there, giving him all that momentum and speed. That's what you have to do, But it is what it is. Hey, I'm not going to knock Ohio State. They played one hell of a game. It showed me something that that they are a contender, man. They are a contender. We talk about are you a contender for the BCS? Yeah, they showed me something. Are we elite? We're not elite. Notre Dame is not elite. We're good. We're not elite. This defense can be elite. They can be. We've seen what they do. When you hold Ohio State to under 350 yards for the entire game, Ohio State held us to under 350 as well. It was a defensive game tonight. It showed that both teams can play defense. What does Notre Dame have to work on, going forward? What do they have to work on? To me, I think Gerard Parker has to go back to this playbook a little bit and see what different defenses put us in. If you look at Sam Hartman when he played at Wake Forest, he struggled versus the 3-3-5. When he played NC State, he lost twice to them. I believe him 1-2 against them. Of course, they played a 3-3-5. Ohio State played a fundamental 4-3 defense. With the linebackers coming in, playing off the ball, coming in as on gaps, stunts, twists. The offensive line held that. They didn't get Hartman. They gave Hartman enough time to throw the ball, but there was a couple plays where Hartman missed a lot of plays. There was two missed balls, touch passes that could have been a great first down for at least 15 to 20 yards. Would have been a momentum changer. There was two plays where on the plays that I'm talking about with touch passes where it could have been Ohio State's win. One was right into the defensive lineman's hands where he tipped the ball and it landed like a yard away from him. If that was a linebacker or a safety or a corner tipping the ball, he would have made that, that proper adjustment. It's like, it's routine to them. It's just the way they flow with the ball. They would have grabbed the ball and took off and got a pick six, scored. There was a couple touch passes from Hartman. The one thing I didn't see from Hartman tonight was, yes, he had time to climb the pocket. He really did. I mean, there was holes in the middle there, but he really didn't climb the pocket. And if you go back and watch the game, guys, really, really do this, because I try to look at different games, because I record a lot of games because I do coach up here. And I try to see like what kind of schemes work, having a quarterback roll here, roll there. The wide receivers tonight, they didn't help Hartman out. They really didn't. You always see, like even going back to Stales, the tight end, of course, he would be a player-friendly tight end. He would go off the ball. Hartman can get out of the pocket, roll up a little bit, and they would make a move for him. I seen tonight Jaden Greenhouse. He didn't make a move on the ball. Tyree just basically ran his route and stopped on the route too. Those are little things that you have to be quarterback-friendly. Quarterbacks, control the field. They control the entire game on the offense, of course. But as a wide receiver, a tight end, and even a back out of the backfield, you got to be QB friendly. You got to continue to run a route to help your QB. You see him, in a position where he's trying to climb the pocket. You know what? I'm just going to cut to the left. A lot of times I've seen it. Harrison did it tonight on one, where he was on the one play where he was actually caught it wasn't a catch. He caught the ball over his head. It was a toe tap, but he had I believe it was the hand down on the sideline. If you go back and watch that play, Harrison made one move and he went like this. He pointed the ball up. Coming off a drag move, he pointed his hand up. All he did was point his hand up. I know he's the number one target because McCord's not going to sit there and he can't see it across the field, a hand up over here. So that was his main route. But when he puts his hand up, that's the ball. That's something I see in the first 4 games of Notre Dame. The wide receivers were quarterback friendly. They would move on the ball and continue a play. Even though the play is dead, keep the play alive and move a little bit. If it's not your route, move a little bit. Move behind the secondary. Move in front of the secondary. We would see him, play the sticks. If the stick's here, okay, we need 6 yards. I got to get beyond the 7 here. I'm going to run a fake corner, a fake post route, and go an inside corner wherever there's a open spot in the secondary. That's what they did. But tonight they really didn't do that. So what does Notre Dame have to work on, guys? What do they have to work on? Better play calling, of course. I mean, that's the only thing you can hang your head on. I do blame Golden a little bit, and I blame Marcus Freeman a little bit too. For not sticking to your guns on the last drive of the game. Playing a prevent defense where Ohio State can gash you with these wide receivers. You already know that. 3rd and 15, and you give up 17 yards down to the 2-yard line with 20 seconds to go. Your first and second down, you held them pretty damn good. That 3rd and 4th down, little bit of mind game there. A little bit of mind game there. Number 4, I was on that 4th down, 4th and 1, last play of the game. We already knew it was the last play of the game there when Ohio State scores, of course, with Churian go right up the middle behind the quarterback. You call timeout. You already showed what you were doing. You stacked the box with 7 guys in the box there. You knew what you were doing. Then you come out and you go to a 6 wide, and the middle was wide open. To me, I'm going to run my linebackers. You're not going to throw the ball. If you get beat by a tight end coming across the middle, fine. I'll get beat by that. But What I wanted to see is I wanted to see my down lineman play on both sides of the center, lead the center of a double team the center, have the defensive ends come in and crack the tackles, and you're going to bring your linebackers up to control the gap. You're going to play, 7-on-5 football. They only had two wide receivers out there, so you can play on the opposite side. There was Harrison, I believe, in Yukoba on the outside there. Stover was on the line of scrimmage. The only thing is you got to chip him. Your DN or linebacker has to chip him just in case he chips you and rolls out for a tight end flat. That's something we run a lot. Of course, that's a great play where they're over pursuing. You get your tight end on chip, he rolls out, he's wide open. But I didn't see that happening because they were on the 2-yard line. Couldn't see it because you had Harrison and Ubugba on the same side. That's just too much of an atmosphere where you have three wide receivers. It can't happen that way. So I didn't understand why we only had 6 guys on the line of scrimmage versus almost 8. I didn't understand the play. I really didn't. I was so pissed off. I was screaming at my TV. But it is what it is. Notre Dame lost their first game. I'm a little mad, of course. I got my tissue. But hey, it is what it is. Ken Fry says, was the play on the final drive where Harrison wanted the ball back corner and McCord threw it back shoulder was almost picked. Harrison pointed back to the pylon afterwards. Exactly. That's what I talk about being quarterback friendly, where he knows he can go up and get the ball in the back of the end zone, of course. He knows that. How many times have Marvin Harrison, I know people don't watch St. Joe's Prep, but he leads, all captain the league with touchdowns too as a combo. You look, Marvin Harrison, we talk about his dad with Peyton Manning, the Colts all-time leader, even going to Reggie Wayne, right after that. They didn't miss a beat because those quarterbacks and that wide receiver have that continuity where, okay, I know we want the ball. I made a bad throw here. Throw it up to the back of the pylon. Let me go get it. Let your best player make the attempt. That's something that I think Hartman needs to, he has it, but against elite competition, it's a little bit different. I think I think he played a little bit scared tonight. I really do. That's just me thinking, but it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Notre Dame lost 17-14. Is it the end of the season? You do know if you lose one game, you could possibly be out of the SEC, of course, unless, it's better to lose early, of course. Helps us out, too, is we lost to an elite team. We lost to an elite team, Ohio State. We know what they are. Last year, BCS, in the BCS last year, of course. So, hey, they got there. They're still legit. And there's something to be reckoned with. Give all the players credit. Give Kyle McCord. I know he didn't have the great game. I actually met him personally many of times. I've met Marvin Harrison a couple times as I watched St. Joe's Prep play, but you got to give them credit, man. You got to give these kids credit. They played balls to the wall. And as a freshman starting in Notre Dame atmosphere, my hat's off to you, man. My hat's off to you, Ohio State. So it is what it is, guys. Hey, listen, I'm going to get out of here in a minute here. But before we do, let's talk about some sponsors really quick. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I wish Jason Fine, actually, our sponsor here, could help me out. But we'll do Monkey Cold Coffee real quick, guys. Monkey Cold Coffee, the evolution of flavor-infused coffee. 3 great blends: bourbon, chocolate chip, toasted coconut rum, Samaritan blend. Make sure you use promo code OOTB Sports at monkeycoldcoffee.com. They have the swag, they have the shirts, the cups, the thermal, the cold thermal, the K-cups, the travel mugs, you name it, they got it. Rum cakes, oh my God, if you guys get a rum cake, I tell you, that's what I feel like eating right now to endure all my pain in that rum cake, I tell you. So make sure you use promo code OTBS Sports at monkeycoldcoffee.com. Also, guys, the Ultimate Gun Day mug for any baseball fan. Not only baseball mugs, any custom mug that you need. Hell, if you're an Ohio State fan out there and you want to celebrate the victory tonight, go out and get a mug. September 24th, 2023. Ohio State beats Notre Dame 17-14. Whatever you want to get. Baseball, football, basketball, whatever. Make sure you use promo code OTBS Sports 20 at dugoutmugs.com for all your needs, of course. And last but not least, guys, man, I tell you, I feel like calling him, calling myself this number here. Give Jason Fine a call. 1-800-HURT-123, Attorney Big Al. Motor vehicle accident, slip and fall, workman's comp, personal injury claims. 3 convenient offices: Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Cherry Hill. 1-800-HURT-123. Mention Out of the Box Sports. Mention my name. I guarantee you it'll be a 33 1/3% rate, no matter what. If we take the case, no recovery, no fee. Give them a call. And, of course, our great schedule here, guys. Tomorrow we will be having the Big Blue Power Hour at 3 p.m. tomorrow. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what time it is. Check the schedule. They will be on there. They moved it over to a Sunday for us. So Joystick Junkies 4:30, Sully Squad 6 p.m. Talking all Philadelphia sports. Let's Big Blue Power Hour. We'll be on tomorrow. Check the notification button. That's why we always ask you to hit that like, share, subscribe button on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. Tuesday, Commanders Gridiron. Extra innings, talking all the baseball, of course. Wednesday, the Bat Cave with Ken Fry talking New York Mets. Fuji will be back in about 2 weeks, talking all the great things in the tri-state area, interviews, businesses, charity work, whatever they have out there. Fuji will keep you covered. Of course, College Football Frenzy. Man, I tell you what, it's not going to be a good thing because with Bill Furman, he's a Penn State fan, and I know I'm going to hear this. I know I'm going to hear this about Notre Dame. Penn State did win tonight, of course, but hey, go Ohio State now. That's all I can say. Beat Penn State when you guys play them. The 215 boys, Wednesday, 9:30, talking all Dallas Cowboys. We have one show on the NFC East table every Thursday night, 7 p.m., of course. 4 hosts, 4 teams, 1 show. And on Thursday at 6 p.m., it's not listed here. We do have an NFL Pick'em show with myself and Dan. We go head-to-head for the whole entire season, picking all the NFL games this week. So you can check that out with the recap. Friday night's the Atomic Drop podcast, of course. And you'll see me. I have a whole week to somber my pain, from this loss tonight. I will be back next Saturday with the Golden Dome podcast. And, of course, Saturday night, Ken Fry, Silver and Black Lair, giving you all the Raiders recap after tomorrow's game. Of course, once a month, Dallas Cowboy fans, you're ready for this one, Niner fans. In 2 weeks, we'll be having a show with the Dallas Cowboys and 49ers rivalry of the 90s. So, guys, you guys ready to get out of here because I'm in pain right now. I really am. I don't know. Somber day in Notre Dame Nation. The Golden Dome. We lost our first game. It is what it is, but hey, we're still Irish Nation, right? I mean, I kept this damn thing on all day long, hoping that this green would bring us some luck, but the luck of the Irish didn't prevail, guys, and we lost today 17-14. Life's not over. We still have a shot. Continue. We have 7 games left. I'm sorry, we have 6 games left. Let's win out. Let's beat Clemson. Let's beat USC. Let's beat Duke. Let's beat North Carolina. Those are the major teams that we have, of course. So let's beat all of them. Let's get it. Let's go 10-1 this season. Let's get it. Let's make the BCS naysayers say their only loss was, of course, to Ohio State in the last play of the game. They deserve a shot. Let's get there, guys. So myself, I'm out of here. I will talk to you next Saturday morning at 11 a.m. So once again, good night.